Hey everybody, Social Security planning. I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff surrounding the decisions when it comes to taking Social Security. But I always want to start with the basics. We've got to understand how Social Security works. Yes, under the rules that we live under. We know they can change. We know that there's got to be some adjustments coming up. But the reality is we need to understand the basics. Let's start with who's eligible. Okay, you have to have 40 credits to be eligible to collect Social Security. So anybody that's earned 40 credits or more gets to collect Social Security. Okay, so how do we get a credit? Well, one per every $1,640 in earnings. That's right. 4 per year, that's only $6,500, something like that. Somewhere around $6,500, $6,600 is all you need to earn in a year. And that's in today's dollars. It was less in the previous years. So we're only allowed to get 4 credits, which means we have to have a work history of at least 10 years to qualify for Social Security. But when they created the system, we recognized, the United States, whoever made the decisions on creating Social Security, FDR, or wherever, they realized that the vast majority of households only had one person working, and that was very normal back then. So spouses qualify, ex-spouses that were married at least 10 years qualify, and widows qualify. So we have to make sure that we've got the benefits for all of them, as well as eligible dependents. Things like if you're a minor and your parents pass away, we have Social Security benefits in our system for that as well. So those are the primary people that are qualifying for Social Security. Now let's talk about how important this income is, right? This is money you can't outlive. If you have a pile of money, that's great and all, but trying to spend it is nerve-wracking, first of all. And second of all, if you spend the last dollar, it's gone. Social Security is a payment to you for the rest of your life. You can't outlive it. If you're collecting $2,000 a month as your full benefit, when you collect, 10 years of that is $304,000, averaging in the 2.8 cost of living adjustment that is the historic average adjustments. That's a lot of money for some people. 20 years, that's 673. If you live 30 years collecting Social Security, if you started at $2,000 a month, that's over $1 million that was paid to you. Okay, this is very important to recognize how powerful this income is, and that's using $2,000. So the other part of this is it's inflation adjusted, and sometimes that's a joke and we laugh, and because for 15, 20 years, we got tiny little cost of living adjustments, 1 or 2%, and the Medicare cost ate it up because they raised the Medicare cost. And so we get no adjustments to our income. But when we finally saw some inflation, we were getting 6, 7, 8, 9% raises, and that was meaningful. So over time, it does kind of help us protect ourselves from inflation, from the costs, the base costs of retirement. It will continue to raise up that. So $2,000 starting for 10 years, that's $2,600 a month. It's increased to. If you live 20 years, your starting number was $2,000. It turns into $3,400 a month. 30 years, $4,500 a month. So that cost of living adjustment, especially over time, if we ever see that meaningful, those bumps of meaningful inflation, boy, does this really actually help us keep up with that, because most of our other incomes, most pensions don't have any cost of living adjustments out there. Then we got to figure out what our payment to us depends on. What are the choices we've got to make? Well, the first thing we have to know about ourselves is when we were born, and there's a chart that tells us what our full retirement age. Full retirement age is going to be extremely important in making decisions on when to take Social Security. So when they created the Social Security system, the full retirement age was 65. And since then, we've only moved it to 67, even though we're living a lot longer than we were back in 1937. So adjustments are going to be need to made. So that it's very likely that maybe they'll move out that full retirement age again. Okay, so right now, if you were born after 1960, your full retirement age is 67 years old. So I want you also to go look at your 35 years of earnings. That's right, 35 years. Well, how do you do that? Well, you log on to the Social Security website. You can create a profile, log in, they go through a whole bunch of security measures to make sure you are who you say you are. And once you get logged in, you can actually look at the 35 years of working history that they have on record for you. And that's very important. I saw a huge error on mine and I was able to correct it. It made a big difference on my Social Security, believe it or not. So very important that you go in and review the 35 years, because if you've only worked 30 years, they're averaging in 5 zeros. And if you know math, when we're averaging 35 years, 5 years of zeros moves the needle. Even if we replace that with a part-time job, maybe you're making $20,000, $30,000, that's going to move the needle quite a bit. So looking at your 35-year work history becomes very important. Having a 35-year work history is very important. So then we got to choose when we're going to take Social Security. So we have to understand our choices on this, right? So we can take Social Security as early as 62 years old in a normal situation. There's a few caveats to that, but the reality is 62 for 99% of us is the earliest that we can take. So if you were born after 1960 and your full retirement age benefit is $2,000 a month, if you choose to take it 62, you are permanently reducing your benefit. You will only get 70%. You'll get $1,400 a month. And that means if you live to 85, yeah, you're getting paid from 62 to 85. That's $550,000 in your pocket. Look at 67 though. You're getting your full retirement age benefit. You're getting the full $2,000 a month, getting paid less years though. 67 to 85 is $659,000. That's more than $150,000 in your pocket. And no, I don't have the present value of money in here, because the present value of money is only relevant if you're going to take that money and stick it into an investment account and grow it. I don't like that. There's lots of gray area. There's lots of wonderful things. And this chart is not meant to tell you to wait till 67. It's not telling you to take it 62. It's simply showing you the black and white numbers, and that's it. There's plenty of gray area to discuss. It's important that we understand that we have a full retirement age based on the year that we were born. And if we try to take earlier, we will get paid less. And that's a permanent decision. We need to know that, and we need to understand that. Now, we also have another choice. We could choose to wait longer than our full retirement age. And every year we wait, we get an 8% raise. So from 67 to 68, we got an 8% raise. So if we chose to wait, because maybe we're still working, or maybe we have a mountain of IRA money, we're trying to do Roth conversions. There's lots of reasons to wait that aren't just, I want to get as much money out of Social Security as possible. Okay. So 67, that baseline, you live to 85, and that's $659,000 in your pocket. If you waited till 70, you get 124% of your full retirement benefit. So you're getting paid $2,480 a month, every month for the rest of your life. And that's $713,000 if you live to 85. So that's only 15 years worth of payments. You're getting paid less years, but you got paid a lot more money. That's important that we understand how that catches up. And for most people, it's, in your early 80s when you cross over, when it was worth it to wait to 70. And that's really just looking at the dollars and cents in black and white terms, not looking at that present value of money or other fancy things that you can add on to this. Okay. And for some people, there are arguments to utilize the present value of money. If we keep seeing 8-9% inflation, certainly I'm going to tell people that we should be starting to take earlier. But if we think inflation is going to drop back down to what is normal for us, the 2-3% a year, then an 8% raise is worth waiting for. Okay. So everybody's in a different situation. Now, we've got lots of benefits out there. There's a lot of little niches and things out there, but a lot of the planning techniques A lot of the fun workarounds that you used to be able to do, they've eliminated from the system. So spouses can claim benefits based on the higher earning spouse. Okay, depending on your age upon claiming, spousal benefits can range from 32.5% at 62 up to 50% at full retirement age of the higher earning spouse's full retirement benefit. Not their 70-year-old benefit, their full retirement benefit. So if you are married and your spouse was a higher earner, if it's a significant enough difference, you may qualify for a better Social Security as a spousal benefit as opposed to your own benefit. I've seen people where one spouse is only getting $600 a month and the other one's getting $3,500 a month at full retirement age. So they apply for the spousal benefit and end up getting paid like $1,900 a month as opposed to that $600. So spousal benefits, we have those. If you take it 62, you're only getting 32% of their full retirement age benefit. If you wait till your own full retirement age, you can qualify up to 50% of their full retirement benefit. So great benefit there. Divorced spouses, believe it or not, you can qualify for Social Security benefits based on your ex-spouse. And nobody wants to bother their ex-spouse. But the reality is you qualify and you don't have to bother them. You just go into the Social Security office, they look up your ex-spouse and tell you what the numbers are. It's pretty great. So you have to be married at least 10 years. I've met people that back in the 80s, they were married for 10 years, haven't talked to somebody for 40 years, but they still can qualify for benefits based on that ex-spouse. And if that ex-spouse is passed, you might actually get widow benefits. And widow benefits are pretty great too, okay? So this is one of the big reasons you don't want to take before your full retirement age because it will affect widow benefits as well. If you take your Social Security before full retirement age, you will have a discounted survivor benefit, and we don't want that. So understand that survivor benefits, if you are married, the survivor gets the higher of the two Social Securities if you waited to full retirement age. Okay. Now, this includes spouses that have divorced. As long as you were married for 10 years, you qualify for survivor benefits. You also cannot be remarried before age 60. So I know actually people that are waiting till 60 to get remarried. So we have to know these rules. We have to look at our past spouses these days. We have to look at their situations and make some wise decisions because this can make an enormous difference in our own Social Security payments. I know some I have clients that literally will go from, I think it was about $1,000 a month Social Security now to if their ex-spouse they haven't talked to in 30 years passes away, they're going to get $3,000 a month. It's an enormous difference. So knowing all these benefits out there, you don't have to bother any of these ex-spouses. If you have been divorced, if you've had any spouses, divorced or not, pass away, you have to know about all that stuff because this can affect your Social Security. So some of the things you have to remember, if you apply early, your benefit starts lower and it stays lower for life. Okay, this is a permanent decision. You need to think through that very carefully. If you're unhealthy and you don't think you're going to live long, great, take Social Security as soon as possible. Because again, think about this this is critical thinking here. It's very important. If you only lived to 72 years old, then money probably wasn't going to be the problem. Because if you only lived to 72 and money was a problem, you wouldn't have stopped working, right? So for most people heading into retirement that have money for their retirement, it's not I'm going to pass away early, so I need to get as much money from Social Security. That's not the decision. That's not a hard decision. That's nothing you need to worry about. The people that really need to think through this is Social Security's big effect on you and your situation is the longevity side of this. It's the backside of the curve. It's living to your mid-80s, 90s. It's living up there. And that's when your decision on Social Security makes a huge difference. And taking it early It's not necessarily a good thing if you're going to live into your 80s and 90s. Okay. Cost of living adjustments magnifies that decision as well. A 3% raise on $1,000 a month is completely different than a 3% raise on a $3,000 a month income. So the cost of living adjustment exacerbates this problem. It really pushes you to waiting longer to have the bigger Social Security because your raises will be bigger in dollar terms. Survivor receives the higher of the two Social Security incomes, but again, only if you waited till your own full retirement age. If you took early, you're going to be penalized for that, including survivor benefits. So decisions always make consequences. So make sure that you think through this stuff. Okay. If you are in a married situation, we have to think about the higher wage earner has a bigger incentive to wait till later, wait till 70 to take their Social Security because the survivor will inherit that higher Social Security payment. Okay, so it's decisions. We've got to be careful about that. All right, so there's a lot more to talk about. I've got 4 pieces to this series, so stay tuned. I'm going to talk about some of the traps and problems and things you should look out for when making these decisions. And then we're going to get in more to the planning side of this. So hopefully this is a good introduction to the Social Security planning world, giving you some of that base knowledge. Shoot us an email, give us a call, comment below, like the video, share the video, do all those wonderful things, and stay tuned for part 2. We'll see you soon.